don't know what I'm doing. I thought, why don't I bring some warm to this very cool shirt and very cool eye look, because I did a little warm on the lip. But that is not why we're here. Today we're continuing the series of Best of 2022. We're doing blusher, bronzer, and highlighter all in one, because there wasn't a lot that I bought. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm Kiki, the Hooded Lid, and hit the subscribe button if you feel like it. It's not a huge commitment. We can always divorce later on, but why not? When I do this series, I talk about everything I bought because it gives some definition to what I'm doing. I can't say such and such is the best if I've never tried it. So first I say this is everything I bought and this is what I like the best. Sometimes it's hard for me to say I like something the best, but I'm going to do my best. Oh. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, by the way, this look is either coming up or has already been up. This is the new Pareto palette, which is so pretty. And I just shot that video and I wanted to change it for this video a little bit, so I went into the Patrick Ta and I just added in the crease, I added this color and then I added this right over here and gave it a very different look. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out. If you're considering this palette and you think maybe there's only one thing you can do with it, you can do a couple of things with it. All right, let's get into it. I didn't do much when it comes to highlighters. I don't wear highlighters that much, and I'm extraordinarily fussy about the color of highlighter in a big, big way. I got and kept 3 that I pulled out here. This is from Jones Road. It's a little too pink for me, not gonna lie. I need to check to see if there are any other colors, and I'm just going to put a little bit out here. But there it is. Super pretty. This is not new to the market. This is the Cle de Peau, but I bought it this year, and sadly now it's not being made. They're doing something that has more shimmers in it. It's a little more loud, but I thought this was a beautiful, soft, lovely little highlighter that was very subtle. And I've lost the sun here, so you may not be able to see the sheen, but it's there. Absolutely gorgeous. And then this one from Chanel, which is just gorgeous. I'm going to put a little highlighter on. Look at that. Just kind of buff it in. This was a limited edition, but I think it's still on their website. And I'll do links below, you guys. There's something you like. Stunning! I'm actually going to keep this out so I can use it more often. To me, this is the winner. Oh, I didn't swatch this for you. It's just a beautiful, beautiful color. The packaging, come on, that's so pretty. And it has a little bit of warmth, but not too much warmth. This one just has a beautiful balance for me. Okay, bronzers. There were a lot of bronzers this year, I think. I mean, you know, I thought there was. And I bought several that I returned. So, Chanel Healthy Glow Oversized Powder and the Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream. This is the universal bronzing cream that is now in several colors. And I still found that I had the same problem that I do with Chanel Universal Tint. That is, it's freaking warm. It's too warm. I'm going to post pictures up here of the look that I got and the video I got, and I liked it, but at the end of the day, that is not a color that my skin does naturally. It's just not. I did buy online, and it's possible they have other shades that will work for me better, but just like I'm fussy with my highlighter color, I'm very, very fussy about my bronzer color. If it's too warm, I just cannot do it. So both of those went back. The Grulon Terracotta Light looks like this, like this. This is called Cool Rose, and I'm telling you, all I see is peach, 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 peach. I don't know where the rose is. I think this one is pink, and this is pink. I wore this a lot when I first got it because it was my first Guerlain and I was really excited about it. They are famous for their bronzers. They were the first company, I believe, to do a bronzer. But the truth is, that color on me is not great. I kept it, but it's a little warm for me. I can use it with a very, very light hand and pull it off. Not the best. It was really about me wanting to finally get a Guerlain. Say has another cream, Sun Melt. I got mine in light bronze. This color, a little bit better for me. Do you see how it's not quite as gold? It's right there. But it's still a little too warm for me. It's actually a lovely product. It's in a pot just like the Chanel, but it doesn't feel like the same formula as the Chanel or the NARS, which also has one in a pot. It feels kind of familiar, actually. More maybe closer to the NARS that came out a few years ago. And that's lovely. But the color's not 100%. Right. Gucci wasn't new this year, but I did buy it this year. And I just have to say, you guys, it's so pretty. Now, this is cool. Do you see what I mean? I want a cooler bronzer because I get red when I get sunburned. That's that. That is more about deep into the summer and the lightest hand. And it's a beautiful powder and a beautiful color. Not new this year, but one of my best purchases. Now, Merit came out with something, and this is actually quite interesting. A different applicator than we've seen. The color is extraordinarily sheer. It's right there. And I think this is fabulous for people who kind of overdo it. Maybe they don't know they're overdoing it, but they're overdoing it. Or this time of year where it's winter and you might want to put on a little bit bronzer, not to look bronze, but to just bring some life back to your face. Maybe you did a foundation that is a little more coverage and took away all your pinkness and all the thousands of colors that you have in your skin. That's what this will do. It's really a nice formula, easy to work with, very sheer. You just saw me do 2 more strokes on that. So it almost doesn't matter if the color is off, but for this time of year, it's not off. And let me tell you what my color is. I have the color Clay, and this was a nice new release from Merit. And then Westman Atelier, this is not new, but I finally got it this year, and I only got it a few weeks ago, and I've been using it every time I do a little bronzer. I'm wearing it right now, and again, just because, not because I want to look bronze, but I wanted to bring some life back. Not new. There's the color, and it's right there. And again, it has a bit of a sheerness to it, so you don't have to worry about being too heavy-handed, I think. I just got the Westman Atelier, and it's not new, so that's not a participant in the competition. The Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Cream. I have the color 1, which is the one that's sold out first, and it goes in and out of stock all the time. It lives here. I use it most of the time. I still have my Victoria Beckham bronzing brick out here. I love that one as well. I use it with this brush. This is the Reve 37. I don't like a big brush for bronzer because I don't want to put it all over my face. I generally want to be pretty strategic and then blend out well. So this with this. The formula is really interesting. It's quite dry. It's almost like a cream to powder, but it's not. And the color is a little unusual, but I would not say that it's warm. When you compare it to this, it's not too warm, it's not too cool, and I love it. This is the winner for bronzers for me. Bronzer of the year. Finally, let's get down to blush. I'm going to first put on my glasses and read to you everything I have, and then I'll talk about it. I really don't know how I'm going to work it out. So blush, the Dior Rose Dentelle came out, limited edition, came out last year at the beginning of the year, along with the 2 eyeshadow palettes. that I love. One is called Poplin, and the other one is called Organza, and this came out with it. And there is something about this color, for me, it sits right here, and when I don't know what to do, this is what I do. This is one of my favorites, not just of the year, but ever. It's just an ideal shade for me. You don't look at it and think how stunning, but I put it on the face and it's just, it does the job. It hits the mark. It suits my needs. I love it. Another one that was a limited edition from the beginning of the year, but I think it might still be available. It's called Brune Rose. And I think, since this is gold instead of white, you get the idea, hey, limited edition. I know, it's like, why would I want rust? This is exactly not the color I would want. I was shocked. It just doesn't look like this on the face. Let's just put a little bit on. It swatches that color, but it doesn't look that color. Just pick up a little bit. Well, I'm picking up a lot, but I'll take some off because, you know, I do have a look. Look at that. I don't use it very often, but I should actually pull it out now because it's the time of year to use a color like that. It's very, very surprising and very, very beautiful, and one of my favorites, 100%. Pat McGrath came out with her duos. I will link my video here. I bought several of them, and I only kept one. And honestly, I think the only reason I kept it was because I wanted to have one, not because it knocked my socks off. I think some of the shades are supposed to be new, and some of them are repeats, just putting them together. And I thought, well, I don't have anything exactly like this, so let me keep this one. But I never pull to it. I probably should have returned it. It doesn't make my top, for sure. Say, I think this came out this year. Everybody was talking about it, and I was very late to the game, but I finally got Chili, and this is another one that lays right here. It stays here. When I'm going for that kind of sunburnt look, been in the sun and the wind and, you know, that healthy look without having to, you know, put my skin in danger and actually get that look, this is the color that I go to. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. It works well with my bronzers, and I love it. And it's another one that's kind of like, I don't know what to do. I do this. This is Say in Chili. I have Say in another color. I'm giving it to Tamara because I think it's in pink, but it looks peach, and it's very fair, and this is the color for me. A new brand this year is Item Beauty. I think it is an influencer whose name I don't know because she's like 10. But Item Beauty, the products are pretty inexpensive. And this blush, I never really highlighted it in a video. I bought this one and the next one I'm going to talk about at the same time. It's lovely. It is a beautiful texture. It is a powdery feel, but it works like a cream. And it doesn't fall apart like a powder does. Really, really lovely. Lovely color, lovely texture, really decent price. It's not one that I go to all the time. So I think for me, I'm definitely going to be telling you what my favorite is based on a color rather than a formula. Color is one, formula is two. Great formula. I'd love it if they did some more colors. Let's put it that way. And then another one, I don't think it's new this year, but Rose Ink. And I bought this around this at the same time. Now this is a cream that feels like a cream, and the palette is moving around. There are two pins here, so you can put pins in here and pop it out so it's refillable. The texture is a cream. It feels like a cream, it works like a cream, you apply it like a cream. Where the Madison, well, the item, I think it's Madison Ray. I could just do this, where with creams I have to pat to use the warmth from my hands to melt. This is that kind of formula, but still, it's really lovely. I don't know if you would say this is a blush. I use it as a blush. It is the Jones Road Miracle Balm. I have this shade Tawny. I'm missing a big hunk because I made some for Tamara. I'm sending her a little packet. But you warm it up in your hands. and then you boop, 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 boop. And I love the way it smells. The way I use it in the blush area, maybe over the nose, again, kind of a sun-kissed look, and I love it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the color, but let's try a little swatch. And I'm using it, of course, on my face much more sheer than that, so it really gives you that, I've been outside, you know, doing something healthy and delicious, or riding horses, or you know what I mean. Chanel came out with Water Fresh Blush. I have light pink, and I'm not really sure how I feel about this, you guys. I bought several colors and returned. This is the only one I kept, or maybe I bought 2 colors. And the thing is, I feel like this pulls warm on me, kind of a rusty color that I just do not jive with. On my hand, yes, I see the pinkness. So I took it out actually to see if it really does pull as warm as I got the impression. I'm looking at it right this angle here, and it absolutely looks warm to me. It doesn't look pink, and the whole line is warm. The other things that I tried looked very, very warm. It's interesting to use. It's fun to use, right? Let me just keep on working on this. I feel like this is warm, you guys. Again, the light not so good, but it looks like a peach color. And didn't make my top 5. Laura Mercier came out with Tinted Moisturizer Blush. I got mine in Parasol, which is, you know, one of those kind of rosewoody kind of color, kind of cool tone. I really liked this. Right there. Lives in this family here. It's not a color that I do all that often, but I'm glad to have it in my wardrobe. Merrick came out with blushes. I think it was this year, but maybe it wasn't, you guys, but I got one. I got this one in Mood. I don't like this kind of applicator, I have to say, because your foundation gets on it. It's kind of gross. So when I do it, I pick it up with my fingers and then go like that rather than applying this. And this is lovely. It's kind of like working with a crayon, but a really thick crayon, actually. Yeah, like it. YSL New came out with these, unfortunately, only 3 colors or 4 colors. And again, when companies do that, they are generally bringing out a color that you already have, if you are a makeup lover. So I've seen this. Now, this is a thick, this is a thick application here, but it's, you know, kind of like Mood with a lot of blue in it. It's a beautiful color. It's just, I feel like I have that. And for me, I want companies to come out with blush colors that I don't have. They don't have to be crazy and really outside the box, but it can't be like, oh, here's another, I've been hiking in the mountains and I have this bluish flush to my face. We got those. I'm not saying don't make it. I'm saying also make something else that it's a little bit different. Redimension Hydra Powder Blush from RMS. I'm scowling because I have to remember these complicated names. Mine, I got in a refill. This is French Rose or Rosé, and it's quite light in color, which I normally wouldn't do, but it's almost like a highlighter. I mean, let's use it like a highlighter, even though I've got a lot going on in my cheeks. This is a great blush topper, or use it as a blush. Now let me just get my blush brush out and make sure I'm blended, because I do have so much going on. I bought this when I did the video on clean beauty at Nordstrom, and I had seen Michelle Wong talk about this for months and months, but I don't like a blush with a huge amount of sheen on it, so I never tried it. And that's part of the reason that I went for a color so light, because it's not a color I would normally use as a blush. So I thought I could just do a pat, and just get a little bit of, ooh, inner glow, using it with something else, using it as a highlighter. And you know what? I was right. For me, the other colors, they look a little too scary. This one I love, and I only got it a couple of weeks ago, but it is in my top 5. Tom Ford Sheer Cheek Duo. I believe this is a limited edition. I love this color. When I first got this, I couldn't stop. Couldn't stop wearing it. It's a beautiful coral. And yes, we've all seen corals, but that's what I mean. It's like, do something a little different, not scary different. This is so, so pretty, so spring, so fresh. You can mix these together. You could use this as a highlighter if your skin's a little darker. On me, I think it's a little odd as a highlighter, and I think it's a little odd as a blush, but I love this. It's the first time I ever bought one of these. I think they come out every year, and this definitely made my top 5. The Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Duo. This is a unique color, and this formula is different than her other formulas. You know what it kind of feels like? And maybe it's because I've had it for a few months. It kind of feels like the Item Beauty, like a dry cream, as opposed to something you really can pull your fingers into. Where are we? I like this color because I just don't think I have something like this. It's quite neutral, but these two highlighters are really, really special. So this one is a cream, and it is more creamy than this, and this one is a powder. Ooh, am I going to put more highlighter on my face? I'll just put a little bit right here. This is the cream. I think this is lovely. I can't say that I've gone to it too many times, mainly because when something's not here on my table, I can't just keep it out. I have to put things away or it'll get really messy. But I need to use this without keeping it on my table. I need to figure something out. Gucci. Gucci blushes came out. Packaging kind of reminds me of Charlotte Tilbury. The colors are lovely. They're kind of basic colors that you've already seen, but I don't have anything like this. It's one of those neutral colors, which I'm trying to get into. Colors that you go to when you just don't know what you want to do. So that is more warm from Natasha Denona. This one's more cool. And then I got the peach. They had several pinks as well, but this is so pretty. And for spring, it will be lovely. I like these powders a lot. I like these a lot. I'm using them a lot. Top 5 for sure. Okay, let me just make sure. I have 3 products that are not new that I got this year. The Makeup by Mario Wild Berry. So I have his powder in another color, Laura Mercier in Sangria, and Armani Neo Nude in shade 50, but they're not new. The RMS French Rose, it's really up there for me. The Chantecaille Lotus Collection. This was a blush that had a lot of sheen in it. It looked beautiful, but that is not the look I want. It's only one blush color. I think it would be better for people with a darker skin tone than me, or I don't know, it almost didn't look like anything on me. It was very unusual, but very, very shiny. If you have deeper skin, it might be a beautiful highlighter, but it didn't work for me. The Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Pillow Talk Cheek Palette. Here's the thing. Palettes are difficult because you really want the majority of the colors in the palette to work for you. Otherwise, it's not worth it. You know, you buy a palette and only half of the colors you like. Why are you buying it? I find that her highlighters have too much color. Not too much sheen, but too much color. And I'm not into a pink highlighter or a silver highlighter or a gold highlighter. I want my highlighter to really look like it's coming from my skin. And she doesn't do that. The Magic Wand in Spotlight, my favorite color. And it's from her. And yet her other colors too much. The blush colors were pretty, but not worth it to me. Those went back. Oh, Jones Road also has a blush, which I didn't bring out. And it's really, really nice. So that was new to me. I'm not sure if it was new this year. I think it was new this year. This is one of my favorites. This is Peau de Santé from Westman Atelier. It is a blush, but on some people, it's a highlighter. And it's kind of like the RMS in that you could do both. You could put it over another blush, use it as your blush, which I've done a lot, or use it as your highlighter. But the color is different. There's more warmth to this. So this is a little bit pink. Kind of like orgasm in a way, right? When you look at it, it's like, oh, it's pink. But there is a shift, like a warm shift that is really, really lovely. And that's a nice swatch. Let's do another one. One of my favorites, you guys, top 5, 100%. And finally, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit in Elephant. So the first one I bought on the Hourglass site, where you can choose the color palette story and the palette itself. I chose Elephant because I love elephants. I love the look of this palette. I love the artwork. It was so, so beautiful. I got the lightest one, and I found that it was weird. It just wasn't balanced very well. There wasn't a bronzer in it. There were too many powders that wouldn't work for me, so I returned it. I put that review right here if you want to. I don't even think it's still available. Maybe it is. And then I did the Elephant palette, which is already packed in the Elephant palette, and it is the second deepest in tone. So there were 3 palettes, light, medium, and dark. And I quite liked it. I managed to get a good look out of both palettes. It's just a matter of, again, if you're buying a palette, more than half of it has to work for you, as far as I'm concerned. Half isn't doable. And it didn't, for a couple of reasons. One, several of the powders I already had. I would say 3 of the powders I already had. The blush colors were what were very special, but I have to ask myself, am I really going to buy a 6-pan palette for 2 colors? That doesn't seem very smart. So I did return that, although the colors I loved. I would say if it's still out there, and if you are new to Hourglass and you don't have the finishing powders and you don't have the bronzer and you're a light medium like I am, it's well worth it for me, considering what I already have wasn't. And that is all the blushes I bought. So I'm kind of back to that place. How could I say what my favorite is? That's such a horrible, mean thing to do to all the other shadows. Here is the Jones Road blush. Right there. And you know what? It would be great with the RMS. So I'm going to say the RMS, I'm going to say the Peau de Santé. Those are my top 3. And Gucci, top 4. I just can't say every single one. I got to stop myself from doing that. Those are the ones for me, because the truth is the Peau de Santé and the RMS probably not going to use year round, because, well, the Peau de Santé especially. But this color I'm going to use all the time. It has lived on this table since I got it, because it's a nice neutral color. And again, I mean, you got to give points, or I do, to companies who are making colors that are a little bit different, that are totally useful, and this is that. So this one gets used a lot. It's in my top favorite, where the RMS is more playful and fun, and it makes me smile when I start to use it. That is a viable reason to put it in there. And the Peau de Santé, I think it feels a little bit better for me spring, summer. And the Tom Ford I really loved in spring too, but it's, you know, it's hard for me to remember that love because it's not the season that we're in right now. But this is beautiful, and if it's still around, I would highly recommend it if you like tones like that. You guys, I think I did better this time of telling you what my favorites are. And that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was entertaining and fun. And tell me what I missed in bronzers that I need to try that came out last year that's really good. And what did I miss in blush that I need to try because it's really good that I didn't get last year. And for sure, tell me about highlighters. But keep in mind, I'm very, very fussy about highlighters and bronzers and blush. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.